So we are talking about Azure Virtual Machine. So Microsoft have offered a portal which is docs.microsoft.com where you can get the information about any resource and is excellent way which you can learn and practice and use it in the practice. So there are many considerations, many aspects which you have to think before you go ahead and plan for deploying a virtual machine. For example, you have to think about the name of that virtual machine, the location where you want to keep it, what should be the size of the virtual machine, and how many virtual machines you want to create, and what operating system should be used for that particular virtual machine. So, similarly, you have to think about these aspects. Now, let's go into the Azure portal. This is my homepage of Azure portal. And to create Azure virtual machine, you can either select create a resource over here and then go ahead, or you can click on virtual machine from your dashboard if you have selected, or you can go ahead and click on create a resource and search for virtual machine. Okay, click on create. So after clicking on create, you need to fill in the details in over here. So first thing is your subscription. It can be a pay as you go or the free trial or whatever subscription you're subscribed to with Microsoft Azure. So, and once you select that, next point is that you have to select the resource group. I already have Azure training resource over here. You can otherwise go ahead and click and create a new one. For example, let me create a new one over here. I'll name it as CPF training. Okay, I'll give the virtual machine name as VM001 and I want to keep it in South India. At this point, I'm not looking for any availability option and we will discuss on it. However, just a FYI, Azure offers a range of options so that you can manage the availability of the server and the resiliency for your application so that it's always up and running state. So at this point, I'm keeping it as no. And the image is the operating system that you have to select on. And I want to go ahead with Windows Server 200 and 2016 data center. Okay. And I want to change the size as well over here. The size, it's one CPU, 3.5 GB memory, but I can go ahead and change it. And I will select, I think I am good with, for this training purpose, I would select 4 GB RAM and 2 CPUs. So I can go ahead with this option. And the username, I will give it as root admin. Make a note that administrator username is not accepted. So username as the word administrator is not accepted in Microsoft Azure. So you have to select any other root admin, any other administrator username for the administrator account. And you have to select a password as well. So let me enter one. Now you have to choose the ports if you want to select any ports. So I'm going to select port 3389 for the remote process, for the RDP process, so that I can go ahead and access the server later on. And if in case you're installing an application on it which needs port 8 HTTP or HTTPS, you have to select accordingly. Or if you're choosing a Unix based or a Linux server, you have to choose SSH for the remote access. So in this case, I'm choosing RDP. And so you can save money if you have already a Windows license. You can use that one over here, but I don't have any, so I'll select no. So next point is that I have to go to the disk tab. So there are two types of disk, three types actually: premium SSD, standard SSD, and standard HDD. So SSD is like a better performance, and you can learn more over the disk type over here. So you can, whatever is your need, whatever is you want to go for, you can get the option from the docs.microsoft page. So for me, I'll select it as standard SSD. And at this point, I don't want to create a new disk, so I'll move on to. So use managed disk is another option. So use managed disk is in sense like you want the disk to be managed by Microsoft, or you yourself is going to manage the disk. So you have to choose that option accordingly. And next is the networking part. And I don't have any virtual network created, so ideally you should be creating one. You can go to the option virtual network, or you can go and create a resource and then search for virtual network and then go ahead and click create one. Okay. So I'll keep it as default, whatever has come through here. And the network security group, I'm going to keep it as basic now. And port I've already selected. So I am good to go in this page. So next one is management. So these are the options that you have to think and select per your requirement, per your need. For example, for monitoring purpose, if you want to keep the boot diagnostic somewhere, you can keep it on. OS guest diagnostic, you can keep it on, or so similarly you have to think and you have to plan for. But as I'm using this virtual just for the training purpose, just to give the demonstration, I'm going to keep it off. And all these options, I'm going to keep it off for now. So next one is the advanced tab. And so I'll keep it as it is for now. Tag is for your understanding. If you want to keep it, if you want to give it a name for testing purpose, for example, I'll give it a name as VM001 value testing. So it's just and all these which are resources which are being used in this VM will be associated. So it's just a tagline, and it doesn't it's just for the understanding purpose. So next is review and create. So you will get this validation passed once everything Microsoft feels is okay to go ahead. And this is the charge that you will have to pay, that is 4.65 Indian rupees per hour. So just go and do a basic check and then click on create. And you can see your deployment is underway. You will get the status over here, and it will take a couple of minutes for your resource to get deployed. So you can go back to your home otherwise, and you will get your resource in your dashboard over here. Otherwise, you can go to all resources and you can see your resources are getting created over here. So if you click on this VM001, still under creation, it's not yet, you can see the status is creating, it's still getting created, and you can see the status over here, deployment in progress. So as I said, it will take a couple of minutes, but once it gets created, you can view it over here. All your resources will reflect in your dashboard. Let's see the status now. So I will take a pause as the resource is getting created. I'll connect back once the resource gets created. As you can see now, the deployment is succeeded. It's there in your notification. You can go to the dashboard. You can click on virtual machine, or eventually you can go to virtual machines over here and you can see this name over there as well.